On a clear Sunday morning in September 1940, the Battle of Britain reached its decisive moment. For months, Britain's fighter command had fought a desperate and exhausting struggle against the Luftwaffe. Never before had so many aircraft filled the skies above a single nation. To those on the ground, it felt as though the war itself was passing overhead. They only had to cross the water, many said. And they were here. Civilians were no longer spectators. Beneath the battle-torn skies, every man, woman, and child was part of the front line. Factory workers, farmers, schoolchildren, and airmen were united by a single purpose: to resist invasion and survive. This is the story of September 15th, 1940, 13 hours that would decide Britain's future. Europe falls. Britain stands alone. By the summer of 1940, Nazi Germany dominated Europe. Poland, Denmark, Norway, Belgium, the Netherlands, and France had fallen in rapid succession. Britain stood alone, battered but unbroken. Hermann Göring, commander of the Luftwaffe, believed air power alone could force Britain to surrender. He promised Adolf Hitler that the Royal Air Force would be destroyed, clearing the way for Operation Sea Lion, the invasion of Britain. German pilots claimed staggering victory numbers. RAF squadrons, they believed, were on the verge of collapse. They were wrong. Britain's shield in the sky, Britain's survival, depended on a revolutionary system built by Air Chief Marshal Sir Hugh Dowding. Radar stations stretched along the coast, feeding real-time data into fighter command headquarters. From there, information flowed to 4 defensive groups, covering the entire nation. Germany had nothing like it, and underestimated it completely. 6:34, dawn under threat. Sunday dawned quietly, but fear lingered. For 3 months, Britain had lived under the threat of invasion. If they had beaten fighter command, many later said, the Germans would have been in London within days. Across the countryside, people tried to live normal lives, hop-picking holidays, weddings, football matches, but the tension never lifted. 8:02. The first kill alone. Heinkel, he won 11 flew reconnaissance along the English Channel. Radar detected it immediately. Hurricanes scrambled from Exeter, intercepted the aircraft, and shot it down. All 5 German crewmen were killed. They were the first casualties of the day. Morning calm, growing storm in France. Luftwaffe crews prepared for what they believed would be the final blow. German intelligence was convinced fighter command was nearly finished. At 10:30 a.m., radar screens lit up. Hundreds of aircraft assembled across the channel. At the same moment, Prime Minister Winston Churchill arrived at 11 Group headquarters at Uxbridge. He watched silently as markers flooded the plotting table. The attack was coming. 11:36. The Luftwaffe crosses the coast. More than 200 German aircraft crossed the English coast near Folkestone, heading for London. From the ground, civilians stared upward as dark formations advanced steadily inland. They weren't speeding, witnesses recalled. Just coming. Relentlessly. RAF fighters climbed to meet them. The sky explodes over Kent and Canterbury. Spitfires and Hurricanes plunged into the bombers. Vapor trails twisted across the sky. Machine guns stuttered. Aircraft spiraled downward in flames. Children watched from fields and gardens, stunned by the scale. Some bombers flew so low that people instinctively ducked. Over London, more than 120 RAF fighters converged. Hurricanes tore into bombers while Spitfires tangled with Messerschmitt Bf 109s. The sky became chaotic. 12:11. The enemy turns back outnumbered and shaken. German bombers dropped their loads blindly and turned for home. RAF fighters chased them relentlessly back toward the channel. By 12:55 p.m., the all-clear sounded. London was damaged. Lives were lost. Families emerged to find homes destroyed or gone entirely. But Britain still stood. A brief silence at 1 p.m., the plotting table was cleared. Losses were heavy on both sides. Fighter command had no reserves left. Then radar screens lit up again. 1400 hours, the final assault this time. The Luftwaffe sent over 400 aircraft, 3 massive columns aimed directly at London. Keith Park committed every available fighter. Churchill asked quietly, "Do we have any reserves?" The answer was simple. None. The decisive hour at 2:14 p.m., RAF squadrons attacked above Romney Marsh. Speed and surprise shattered German formations. London's anti-aircraft guns opened fire, marking the bombers for RAF pilots. Dogfights raged from 26,000 feet to rooftop height. Bombs fell across southeast London. Shelters shook. Streets vanished in dust and fire. Yet the Luftwaffe could not break through. 15:15. Retreat low on fuel and ammunition, German bombers turned back once more. Fresh RAF fighters intercepted them over the channel. The second assault had failed. The cost of the day by nightfall: 79 Luftwaffe aircraft destroyed, 29 RAF aircraft lost, more than 130 German aircrew killed or captured 2 days later. Hitler postponed Operation Sea Lion indefinitely. The invasion would never come. Britain's finest hour in the air, the Battle of Britain, was not over, but the danger of invasion had passed. Young pilots, many barely out of their teens, had saved a nation. Civilians endured loss with resilience. Britain had delivered Nazi Germany its first major military defeat. There would be years of hardship ahead, but Britain was free. And on September 15, 1940, the sky had decided its fate.